Today's video is going to be strange because I've done 3 versions of this video. This will be the 4th one. Not because there was an editing mistake. No, because I wanted this video to help you guys out. I wanted to do a video about changes to mentality and how they impact the game. I wanted to do a video about, how we need to adapt, how we need to tweak. Then I was thinking to myself, wow, that's a lot of information. So how do I get all of this condensed into a short video? Well, we'll see if we can get that done. Now, I know that there are bugs in the match engine. Let's not pretend there are none, because there are. However, there are also some mistakes people are currently making because they don't really understand the changes that have been made to the game. Today, I'm going to explain the first one of these changes. It's mentality. In older versions of Football Manager, if you wanted to play counter-attacking, you probably would have gone out there and made a tactic with a higher mentality. Why? Because you want them to have faster transitions. If you go down to board vision and the board tells you, hey, we want you to play an attacking style of football. Some of you even probably went out and chose attacking mentality, I bet. Well, the thing is, this is wrong. Right now in FM23, they're trying to address these kind of things in the game. When a person like me goes to the board and the board tells me play an attacking style of football, it doesn't mean we have to play an attacking mentality. It just means that we have to produce matches where there are good shots on goal, right? Scorelines that have a good win ratio. That's what the board means. Now, if they ask you to play an entertaining brand of football, it just means they want to see lots of goals, 4-3 maybe. Yes, they want to be entertained. They don't want you to play on a specific mentality because mentality in itself can't be measured, right? A scoreline can. Let's talk about counter as a mentality. That was in the game a few years ago, as I actually removed it because it didn't make sense. Because the thing is, mentality in the game tells your team how to behave. That's what it does. Attacking or defensive mentality doesn't mean your team is going to be more attacking or more defensive. It just means your team is going to be taking a lot more risk to create chances to score if they're playing on an attacking mentality. On a defensive mentality, they won't be taking as many risks. They will try and make sure that those chances count. They will play the ball in a more measured way. So whenever you create any kind of a tactic, you have to bear this in mind. This has not changed, but the way the defensive mentality now plays has. Let's assume you have this tactic. It's a defensive tactic. Your mentality is defensive, but what actually makes your tactic offensive and defensive are going to be your lines of engagement. See, the standard defensive line and the line of engagement create what is known as a zone of compression. That's where you're trying to force the opposition to play in. If I created a tactic like this, it will tell my team to sit back, stay deep. Allow the team to enter our half before we engage. That standard defensive line tells my back line to stay a certain distance away from goal. Not too close to goal, which would be something like this. But here, probably just outside our penalty area or further up. We want to compress the area that the opposition play in. Then if I use drop off more, we want this block to move as we come down the pitch. If I tell them to step up more, then we're compressing the space in which the opposition plays in, using the defensive line to squeeze the space when the opposition is playing. So this is going to be your zone of compression. When you're playing a system like this on a low mentality, you're actually seeking to hit teams on the break. So what's going to be really important are your attack duties. Your attack duties need to attack space because you're going to leave a lot of space behind, right? Because when the opposition is drawn into your block, you're going to have space to attack them behind. So this is where understanding how to place your attacking duties will be important whenever you're creating any kind of a defensive or a counter-attacking tactic. If you have created a low block like this and the majority of your duties are support and defend, then chances are the majority of your team is going to defend. If you have a couple of attacking duties within this structure, when you have a counter-attacking opportunity, those attacking duties are going to bomb forward. So whenever I create any kind of defensive tactic, then I'm thinking, who's going to attack the space? Now, if I'm looking at this tactic, we've got some roles doing that. We've got 2 ball-playing defenders who might play the ball from deeper areas. We have a wingback and a wingback. Now, these players might dribble with the ball and carry the ball through the tiers. What's interesting is what we have here. We have 3 players attacking the space on this side. We've got a CM on attack attacking this space. We've got inverted winger on attack who might go down to the flanks and drop one, or he might attack the area as well. And we got an inside forward, just hanging out just in case. It's a very simple setup. It's meant to be counter-attacking, and it can actually work because here I actually have attacking duties in the final third. When you're playing on defensive or even very defensive mentalities, those attacking duties, they'll help you come back and defend. Right? If you're playing a team on a generally attacking mentality, you got to be very careful with how your attacking duties are positioned, because if you're playing like a positive attacking mentality and you've got multiple attacking duties, those attacking duties are going to bust the gut, go forward. Then you got to think, how do I control this a bit more effectively? Well, take a look at my 4-4-2. Here I've got Palemo. It's a very funny story. We've been doing this as a live stream on BTN Live. And it's also an attribute-less save, so I can't see the attributes. At one point, we were closer to the relegation zone, but voila, we are now going to be promoted from Serie B to Serie A, and we did it with a 4-4-2. If you understand how mentality works, you can probably create a lot of these kind of tactics. So this is what I did, right? So look at this system. This is a very aggressive mid-block. We play on a mid-block and sometimes a much higher line of defense, but check this out. We also play step up more in our defensive line. Why? Because I want to compress the opposition into this tight space where we're going to try and win the ball. There's no prevent shot goalkeeper distribution because I want the opposition to bring the ball out of defense. So when they bring the ball out of defense, we got ball-winning midfielders in the center who are going to aggressively try and break them down because, as you know, the ball-winning midfielder tries to win the ball high up the pitch. But remember what happens with double pivots, right? In FM23, they tend to drift a bit lower because you got no DM. So what they do is they support play as well at the back. And if you've got two narrow banks of four, remember your line of engagement? This is where I want my players to drop. So they drop into these positions. And when they drop into these positions, we can compress play in this area and try and win the ball back. Sometimes what I end up doing is this guy goes on attack when I want to be very aggressive. And we've got a double-sided attack coming up this way. We've got a striker that holds his position. He doesn't really go into the channels. We've got a DLF on attack, holds out the ball, looks for risky passes occasionally. We've got an inverted winger who bombs on this way. We've got a ball-playing defender who will play risky passes out from the back. Yes, it is a very simple tactic, but it's meant to be aggressive within a narrow zone. In order to have played it like this, I went to, you need to understand how mentality is playing. Now, because of this zone, we've got compression going on over here. I don't have prevent shot goalkeeper distribution. This is important because it maintains my shape. Then I've got to step up more because I want to win the ball in the center, right? I don't want them to bring the ball down. Then on top of that, we've got attack duties here who are going to attack the channels when we win the ball because we're going to have two narrow banks of four. And then because we're playing with a higher defensive line, I'm expecting these guys to bomb up the pitch. Occasionally, I even turn this guy into a wingback on support. And then I get a very strong attacking pattern down the flanks. Football Manager 23 right now, you can play on any mentality. You just need to understand how the risk has been played out with the team mentality that you've chosen, because team mentality, it affects a lot of the dynamics that go into playing the game because it modulates behavior on the pitch. Okay, I want what I say next to be treated with a lot of care. It shouldn't be turned into a rule. When I'm playing on a very low team mentality, I'm always looking to have at least 2 to 3 attacking duties. Why? I need them to attack the space. Otherwise, I'm sitting back defending all day. When I'm playing on higher mentalities, I'm very careful. You have to be even more careful on higher mentalities if you're going to be playing a lot of attacking duties, because those attacking duties may not come back and defend. So you got to start thinking about your zone of compression. How are you setting your zone of compression up? So if you saw the second tactic, you noticed I had 4 attacking duties. In some of my other attacking mentality tactics, I only have 2 attacking duties. The question is, how are you going to set yours up? And this is where I want to take my hats off to SI's Match Engine team and this team that's been working on stats, because what they've done in FM23 has made it a lot easier for me to prepare for my games. There are 4 things I will check before I play an opposition team, and they're all in the data hub. So whenever I'm going to the data hub, the first thing I check is the overview. What formation are they playing? So if they're playing like a 4-4-2 diamond, it's good to understand where these roles are heading. This Mazzala is going to come into this pocket. This Mazzala is going to come into this pocket. The wingback is going to bring the ball up. And then this playmaker is going to drift left and right, trying to create chances. This pressing forward is probably going to stay in the area while he runs the channels, pulling defenders away. He's going to stay in the box trying to score goals. It's not a bad tactic, but this is not enough information. So what I normally do is I go to the next opposition performance, and this is where, it's paid time. So first thing I check, pitch tilt. Pitch tilt is very important because it tells you what kind of a team you're playing against. A team, whether or not it's a team that likes to park in the opposition third, whether they're good at carving out passes in the opposition third. So here we're playing against Bari. Now Palemo is over here. Final third passes against. Most teams can't create many chances against us, right? We are literally not allowing a lot of teams passing opportunities in our half. And then when I'm looking at Bari, they allow the opposition plenty of chances to pass the ball, but they can also get into the area to score. So they're not that bad. I mean, 2,000 final third passes indicate a team that is comfortable getting into the opposition area, but they also not very solid defensively, so they give up a lot of chances. The next thing I check will tell me whether I should be worried about the attack. Now, if I'm looking at this, I'm worried about Bari's attack. Now, even though they don't create a lot of shots per game, if I give them enough shots, they've got a pretty decent conversion rate, right? They don't have a bad conversion rate. So I want to limit the total number of chances they have in our half because, as you can see from us, we're not that efficient ourselves. Next, I check the defensive efficiency. How solid are they defensively? Now, this is where there's a bit of good news for me, but I have to be very careful. Now, looking at this, okay, I give up quite a few chances as our team, right? So the opposition tends to convert about 12% of their chances when they get into our third. Same with Bari, but they allow more shots per game. So Bari is going to give up chances for us. We just measure our chances and take them well. But we've got to be worried about Bari's counter-attack. Their defense isn't that solid. Our defense, well, it's okay if we make it a bit harder, which is the reason why we switched to this 4-4-2. It creates narrow banks. So when I'm going to be playing against Bari, we are playing at home against Bari. So I'm going to take the game to them. I'm going to still be on positive. I'm going to maintain these instructions. If I was playing away, I probably would drop my defensive line one notch because I'm worried about giving them those easy chances. I'll still maintain the posture, maybe drop the mentality down to balance to start the game out. Sometimes understanding their formation helps as well. They're playing a 4-4-2 diamond. For them to get chances, those fullbacks have to come up the pitch. They'll get tired after about 60 minutes, and that's when we'll strike. We have to have a bench strategy where I can get fresh legs on the pitch, maybe 2 fresh wingers, 2 fresh fullbacks, and then in the second half, we push the attack. I'm not suggesting that the game of Football Manager is perfect. There are bugs in the game. Of course, this was a very strange bug. It makes me feel like my Sicilian overlords managed to influence the result of this game one way or the other. I hope you enjoyed today's video. I tried to explain the changes to mentality and how you need to start thinking in terms of zones of compression. I mean, I honestly think that if you can put these two together and start considering your duties in your formation, you probably will find this game relatively easy. After all, I still think one tactic can win the day. All you need, 5 great substitutes, bring them on in the 60th minute. You probably will still win the game with little effort. You guys stay safe, take care of each other. I'll see you again soon. Bye-bye.